Greetings, big brain thinkers and squishy adventurers! It's me, Gribnak the Great, the almighty, the best and smartest goblin ever! I'm here to teach you everything about us Gobbos and our glorious allies. Spoiler, goblins are the best. Bugbears and ogres? Man, they're lucky we let them hang out with us. So sharpen those puny ears and listen close, or I'll make your kiss foot. Now, to talk about the real heroes of Faerun, the faithful of Maglubiet. We may be small, but we're scrappy, clever, and a little bit chaotic at times. But that's half the fun. Masters of raiding, traps, ambushes. We'll do whatever it takes to win. We're also deathly easy on the eyes. Big, dumb, lumbering adventurers stand no chance against our might and genius. To see the boys riding into battle on the wargs might shed a tear at that. Gobbos, Gobbos, Gobbos.
A somewhat self-indulgent take by Gribnak. Goblins are small, green-skinned humanoids driven by cunning and mischief. Standing around 3 to 4 feet tall, they compensate for their size with overwhelming numbers and clever tactics. They are small, black-hearted fey creatures, often resembling a humanoid form, that lair in caves, abandoned mines, despoiled dungeons, and other dismal settings. Individually weak, goblins gather in large, sometimes overwhelming numbers. They live in tribal societies, usually underground or in dense forests, and their homes are riddled with traps designed to repel invaders. They crave what little power they can obtain and regularly abuse said authority. Goblins belong to a family of creatures called goblinoids. The typical goblinoid was lewd, cruel, sadistic, power-hungry, extremely lacking in any intelligence or sophistication, and proud of it. Known for their habit of abusing those lesser than them, and worshipping those greater than them. Goblinoids were not popular amongst other races. Goblins are tied to the Mighty One, or the High Chieftain, who was the chief deity of goblins. Maglubiet demands conquest and bloodshed, driving goblins to expand their influence wherever they can. However, goblins often resent their role as expendable soldiers in the High Chieftain's grand plans. Despite their reputation as cowardly and disorganized, goblins are capable of surprising ingenuity. They excel at crafting crude but effective tools, and their wolf-riding cavalry, known as goblin riders, are feared by many.
Oh, greetings, big brain thinkers and squishy adventurers! It's me again, Gribnak the Great, smartest goblin ever. I'm here to teach you everything about us Gobbos. Goblins! We're the real stars of the show. Small but scrappy, clever but chaotic. We're masters of traps, ambushes, and doing whatever it takes to win. Those pathetic flaming fists, they can stick those fists where the sun don't shine. They don't stand a chance against our genius. And did I mention we ride wolves? Oh yeah, we tame the wildest beasts. No one survives a goblin wolf cavalry charge. No one. But it ain't just about fighting. Oh no, we're builders too. You ever seen a goblin warren? Tunnels twisting and turning, trapdoors ready to drop fools into pits full of spikes, or worse, angry giant rats. We're crafty. You think that rickety old bridge is safe? Think again. Every plank, every rope, a death trap waiting to happen. And we don't just fight with sticks and rocks anymore. Oh no, we make boomsticks now. Fire, explosions, stuff that makes adventurers scream and run. The smart ones anyway. The dumb ones, well, they just make a nice red stain on the cave walls. People think we're just minions, cannon fodder weaklings. Ha! That's what we want them to think. A goblin that survives long enough learns the game, knows when to fight, when to run, when to stab someone in the back while they ain't looking. And the best goblins? The ones that really get it? We don't just survive, we thrive.
Goblins are Feywild embodiments of recklessness and ruin. They delight in wreckage. The louder, the more energetic, and the more convoluted, the better. Goblin raids are often as much opportunities to enjoy setting fires and tormenting livestock as they are parts of more disruptive plots. Goblins obey those who accomplish the wildest plans. Such leaders might be goblin raid masterminds, bombastic magic users, or those capable of making the loudest noises. Hobgoblins and forceful humanoids might also command ornery groups of goblins, directing their destructiveness toward banditry, sabotage, or war. The deity Maglubiet claims to be the god of goblins, hobgoblins, and bugbears, and on the infinite battlefield of Acheron, the deity commands innumerable goblinoid legions. In ages long past, the chief god witnessed the destructive propensity of goblinoids and relocated a population of them from the Feywild to his realm on the Outer Planes. Since then, hordes of these more martial-minded goblins have flourished, with some finding their ways to material plane worlds. These vicious invaders seek to sow ruin in preparation for their god's conquest. Being bullied by bigger, stronger creatures had taught goblins to exploit what few advantages they had, namely sheer numbers and malicious ingenuity. They favored ambushes, overwhelming odds, dirty tricks, and any other edges they could devise. The concept of a fair fight being meaningless in their society.
The Bugbears! Big, scary, and surprisingly lazy if you ask me. They're only useful because they're strong enough to smash adventurers in half. They pretend to be all sneaky and terrifying, lurking in the shadows like some kind of nightmare. But trust me, we goblins know better. Half the time, we have to prod them into doing anything useful. Oh, sure, they're strong. And when they actually put in the effort, they can be real terrors, creeping up behind an unlucky soul and wringing the life out of them before they even know what's happening. But left to their own devices, they'd rather nap in a cave somewhere, only waking up when their stomachs demand it. That's why they stick with us. We keep them fed, point them at the enemy, and make sure they don't just wander off to laze about in the woods like the hairy loners they were born to be. And don't even get me started on their whole respect through strength thing. Sure, if one of them bashes a hobgoblin hard enough, they might get to call the shots for a while. But they don't have the brains for real leadership. Not like us goblins. No, they just do what they do best. Hit things, scare people, and take all the credit while we do the actual work. If anything, they should be thanking us for letting them stick around. Without us, they'd be nothing more than oversized, hairy bandits waiting for their next meal to walk by.
Bugbears are hulking goblinoids standing between 7 and 8 feet tall. Unlike their smaller goblin kin, bugbears rely on brute strength and intimidation to achieve their goals. However, their size doesn't make them clumsy. Bugbears are surprisingly stealthy, often ambushing their foes in total silence. Bugbears are also servants of the chief god, though they venerate a secondary god, Hrugek, who represents strength and brutality. Bugbears tend to be solitary hunters or mercenaries, but they'll often join goblin tribes for mutual protection, or because goblins provide an endless supply of food and loot. One notable trait of bugbears is their lethargy. When not actively hunting or fighting, they're notoriously lazy, sleeping for hours on end. Despite this, their combat prowess makes them a force to be reckoned with, especially when paired with goblin traps and ogre muscle. Bugbears were often found in the company of other goblinoids, particularly goblins, since tribes made up mostly of hobgoblins and bugbears tended to be wiped out quickly by other races as a precaution. Some bugbears also operated independently, though tribes ruled by hobgoblins were better organized and less savage. This was in part because bugbears had little patience for diplomacy or negotiation, preferring violent solutions to conflicts unless obviously overpowered. Bugbears also feature in the nightmare tales of many races. Great, hairy beasts that creep through the shadows as quiet as cats. If you walk along in the woods, a bugbear will reach out of the bushes and strangle you. If you stray too far from the house at night, bugbears will scoop you up to devour you in their den. If a bugbear cuts off your head, your soul stays trapped inside, and the bugbears use your head to magically command all whom you once knew. Lurid tales such as these have flowered from the seeds of truth. Bugbears do rely on stealth and strength to attack, preferring to operate at night. They do take the heads of enemy leaders, but they are no more likely to ear people indiscriminately than humans are. Bugbears aren't likely to attack lone travelers or wandering children unless they clearly have something to gain by doing so.
All men, I will talk about our leaders, the ones we gotta listen to. Hobgoblins, big armored and so full of themselves, always marching around, barking orders, thinking they're better than the rest of us just 'cause they know how to walk in straight lines. Oh, sure, they're strong. Sure, they've got plans, but what do they use all that strength for? Bossing around anyone smaller than them. Which is most people, mind you. They love their rules, their ranks, their strategies. But you know what that means. They're predictable. You always know what a hobgoblin's gonna do. March in, take over, and make everyone else do the real work. We goblins, we think. We move fast, strike from the shadows, and don't waste time with fancy battle formations when a good rock slide or a collapsing tunnel gets the job done faster. Oh, and don't get me started on how they treat us. Gribnak, carry my shield. Gribnak, polish my armor. Gribnak, go run at the adventurers first and see how many die before we show up. Ha, no thanks. We goblins got our own ways, and we ain't meant to be just another weapon in a hob's war chest. They can march their big metal boots right off a cliff for all I care. You know what happens when a goblin gets too loyal to a hobgoblin? They forget how to be a goblin. No more sneaky tricks, no more clever escapes, just another mindless grunt in a big red army. And what do the hobs do once they conquer everything? Find a new place to conquer. It's never enough. They'll march right off the edge of the world if it means taking over the next one. Let 'em have their war gods and their iron fists. We goblins will stick to the shadows, setting the traps, playing the real game. And when the hobs finally overreach and come crashing down, guess who'll be left standing, snickering in the dark? Us! All right, listen up. You're about to see the greatest place in the whole wide world. A real goblin camp. Not some stinky human village with their boring stone houses and organized streets. No. This is where the real brilliance happens. Come on, I'll show ya. First stop, construction. See those fellas? That's engineering, goblin style. You want a tower? We'll build you a tower in an hour. Will it stand forever? Poofed, probably not. But that just means we get to build another one. And look at that scaffolding. No safety ropes, no planning, just pure goblin instinct. See? Efficiency. Humans take months to build things. Bah! Who's got time for that? Goblin cuisine. You ever eat something that fights back? No? Well, you ain't lived. We take whatever we find, mushrooms, lizards, sometimes adventurers, and throw it in the pot. A good goblin meal should make your tongue tingle, your hair stand up, and your stomach reconsider all its life choices. And here, this is the fighting pit. You think goblins don't know how to fight? Ha! We don't just fight, we outfight. We don't march in neat little rows like those dumb hobgoblins. We sneak, we trick, we throw sand in your eyes, and then steal your boots before you even know what's happening. That is true strategy. The Boom Boom Squad. Goblins figured out fire is good. Goblins figured out fire, plus things that explode is even better. Humans call it reckless. We call it science. Some folks dig for treasure, but we just take it from people who already did the hard work. Smart, right? They get the loot, we borrow the loot forever. And see that staff? Some wizard was using it, but now it belongs to Glink over there. Does he know how to use it? No idea, but he looks real fancy holding it. And the best part? We got mounts, wolves, big, mean, fast, and they like us. Well, mostly like us. We ride into battle on these beasts, charging through forests, over hills, straight into enemy camps, and stealing all their food before they can even blink. So there you have it, a goblin camp, where the best ideas are made, the best food is probably edible, and the best warriors are the sneakiest, trickiest, and scrappiest of them all. And if any adventurers come sniffing around, well, let's just say they're never heard from again.
A cluttered goblin war tent. Maps made of tattered parchment, smeared with dirt and crude doodles, cover the table. Some drawings resemble stick figures with big swords labeled bad men, and others are goblins labeled us, the winners. A few goblins in the background poke at weapons or pick their noses.
All right, listen up, you scrawny runts. We got trouble. Big, clanky, stinky trouble. The flaming fist is coming. And we all know what that means. It means we get to crush them. Sure, they got armor, they got big swords, they got training and discipline or whatever that means, but we got something better. We got goblin tactics. See, when the fisters... No, wait, that sounds weird. The Flamy Boys march in, they do it all nice and proper. Straight lines, shields up, clank, clank, clank. But that means they ain't looking over here. Look over there at the swamp. We lead them right into the muck. Heavy armor, useless. They sink, and while they're stuck trying to pull their big metal boots out of the mud, what do? Throwing rocks at them is correct. But not just any rocks. Sharp rocks, pointy rocks, maybe some rocks that are on fire. But let's say somehow they don't sink. They keep marching forward, shields up, all that nonsense. That's when we hit them with the real plan. Exploding pigs? Yeah. We strap some boom boom to a couple of pigs, set them loose, and bam! No more flaming fist, no more problems. Just bits of bacon everywhere. How to make them run at them? Good point. Maybe we tie food to them, or light them on fire? Ooh, we put horns on them so they look scary. Now listen up, you grubby lot. There's a thing or two us goblins know that them tall folk don't. They think they're all smart with their big words, fancy swords, and civilization. Poofed. But goblins, we got the real wisdom of the world. Lesson 1. Take what you can when you can. You see something shiny? Grab it. You see food lying around? Eat it. Waiting, planning? Bah! That's for suckers. The world's full of slow, careful thinkers, and all that gets them is a knife in the back from someone quicker. Lesson 2. If you can't fight fair, don't fight fair. Some folks say honor matters in battle. But what good's honor when you're lying in the dirt with a sword through your guts? If tricking someone means you live another day, then trick away. Set traps, hide in shadows, tell them you surrender, then don't. That's the goblin way. Lesson 3. Everything's food if you try hard enough. You'd be surprised what you can eat if you stop being picky. Mushrooms? Good. Bugs? Tasty. Weird glowing meat we found in a cave? Probably fine. Tall folk waste too much time worrying about safe food. But goblins? We thrive. Lesson 4. Run today, fight tomorrow. Some folks think running away makes you a coward. But let me tell you, dead goblins don't learn from their mistakes. If a fight's going bad, leg it. A smarter goblin picks a better battle later, with more friends, sharper knives, and maybe a fire trap or two. And the most important lesson of all, Stick with your gang. Us goblins, we ain't lone wolves. We're pack creatures. We got each other's backs. Most of the time, tall folk think being independent is smart, but we know the truth. You're only as strong as the sneaky, stabby, thieving bunch you got at your side. So there you go, goblin wisdom, live fast, take what you want, run when you gotta, and never, ever pass up a meal. That's how you win at life. And if anyone says otherwise, they're probably just mad we stole their stuff.